Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Bulldog Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Law and Parks Yoga. And check out the hat. I just wanted to wear the hat. Oh, don't forget about all of our platforms. But I just wanted to wear my hat just for a minute to show you how dapper I look. And guess what? I'm doing this early today because I'm catching I got a buddy of mine that's going to give me his company. I'm going to get a chopper ride from here to Owensboro for my noon luncheon. So I got to get this show done and out of here before I get on a chopper. Just hope everything's not foggy or anything. Makes me nervous. But I'll get there a lot quicker. I've been told, I think, in an hour. All right. You can't make this up. Donald Trump has gotten the green light to return to Facebook and Instagram. And it's based upon Zuckerberg saying the politicians need to be heard from by the people, their political leaders, blah, blah, blah. Oh. But that wasn't relevant on January 7th, was it? A year ago. No. It's unbelievable. By the way, I don't know if Trump will return. I assume that he will to Facebook and Twitter. I mean, he reaches all those people. Why wouldn't you use those platforms? However, he issued a statement saying how wonderful truth is. Where are the search warrants? Where are the search warrants for Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the rest of these political gangsters like they did to Trump and Mar-a-Lago? The double standards. And Pence. Where are the search warrants? Don't see them, do you? Nope. McCarthy, going after the liberal press, he did a great job hanging in there and fighting back against the liberal press. I got some hopes for McCarthy. I got some hopes for him. Let's hope he continues to do so. Now, you can't make this up. America is sending 31 Abrams tanks to Germany. And I think the Brits or somebody else is sending, or Germany is sending like 10 tanks. This is going to be like a tank battalion for Ukraine. Now, what did I say from day one when Russia was saber rattling against Ukraine? I said NATO, the United States, and Ukraine should say no-fly zone over Ukraine and put tanks on the border. So guess where we are? After $100 billion sent to Ukraine, people dying, Ukraine destroyed, they're going to want billions more to reconstruct their country, all of this hell, then we send the tanks. After the barn door is open and all the horses run out, we close the barn door. Now we reopen the barn door. It just tells you, man, how good of a president I would be. And, of course, how good of a governor I'll be. You know, you got to have great things. To be a leader, you have to have judgment. You have to have vision, not reaction. I said if we called a no-fly zone and we put tanks on the border, the war would never happen, and it wouldn't have happened. Now, the war happens, and then we give them tanks. Ridiculous. The Max fail. They are now reporting that everybody that's gotten the, you know what, Max, that it doesn't, remember Max rhymes with the Max, that, you know what, it's not going to protect you. You got to get some more, you know what. So, I mean, it's going to go on and on and on. McCarthy and Manchin have said, or McCarthy told Manchin, that Social Security and Medicare will not be touched in the proposal for the debt ceiling. You can't make this up. Old Shifty Shifter. By the way, Babylon B had something funny. They said that he's going to be on the Pencil Neck Committee. Old Shifter went after Trump coming back on Facebook. He said that it was profits over principle and protection of the country and all this stuff. Pencil Neck will never quit. By the way, he and Swalwell, biggest leakers on that Intelligence Committee. And I've learned that people want to be on the Intelligence Committee for raising the bucks. I personally think that Swalwell is in trouble, that there's people that are telling him, you better get back on that committee or we're taking you out. In other words, the communists have him compromised. And him not being on the Intelligence Committee, he's shaken. By the way, Swalwell and Schiff and Omar said, well, we're getting death threats and it's all McCarthy's fault. Ridiculous. You ready for this? Drum roll. Trump's only up 35% on DeSantis in the primary. What did I tell you, folks? See, I've stayed loyal to Trump, even after January 6th. And look how it's all rebounding. 1% of America are going to be illegal aliens now. But that's a huge number. When you got 340 million people, we're going to have 1% illegal aliens in this country. Coming up next, the local news with yours truly. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, our top story is the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Kentucky State media. Why? Because it's just fun to point out all of their hypocrisy. I got to ask you this question. Would it not be news if the largest fraud claim against a health insurance company was going forward? Of course it was. Would it not be news if there was a book published about the largest crazy, unnecessary spying case in the history of law? A book was published? Yes. How about this? How about somebody running for governor who is bashing the heck out of the sitting senior senator while doing that? Also supporting legalization of medicinal cannabis and rec cannabis, full sports gaming, gives out his cell phone number every day to the people. I mean, it's unbelievable, the daily ignore. Today, we're sending out a press release. We've now won over $200 million in verdicts in the Durrani litigation. We are trying case after case after case, unprecedented in legal history in this country, and it's ignored. It's ignored. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The woke, hypocritical, biased media. Folks, I know what news. Let me give you an example of how good that I know what news is. When I would feed stories to local news agencies and Bill Cunningham on 700 WLW radio, Willie never said no to one request I ever made. Why? Not because he was my friend, but because I knew what news was. I wouldn't call Willie up and say, hey, my neighbor's having a lemonade stand. You want to do a story about it? No. I would call Willie up and say, hey, Willie, Deters Law is representing that guy that got shot last night in that shootout down in Ludlow. You want to interview him? Hell yes, he'd say. So I know what news is. I don't send things out to the news unless it's news. But you need to understand, I'm telling you this is our top story because I want to stress to you what I'm doing here at Bulldog Media is important to you, me, and our community because it's a platform that you're going to get that you're not going to get at these other places because they are bought and purchased by corporate woke America and tri-state woke America. All right, long crime. Cincinnati man Ricardo Sepulveda has been arrested and charged with connection to a 1997 murder. It involves a John Doe killed in a southern Michigan cornfield. He probably thought he was going to get away with it. Nope. His brother Michael from Toledo was also arrested. The Diocese of Covington has settled a lawsuit centered around the death of a high school soccer player. In 2020, a St. Henry high schooler, Matthew Mangine, collapsed during an organized practice. The athletic trainer could not access the school's defibrillator for about 12 minutes after the collapse. Matthew's parents have started a new foundation that will provide AED devices to appropriate locations. A Hamilton family is asking to help track down a Bengals jersey that went missing. Roy Pruitt was a huge Bengals fan who passed away in 2020 and had a custom jersey made in his honor. The family placed the jersey at Pruitt's gravesite and apparently someone stole it. The jersey is very specific with a back reading, "Rest in Peace, RPC." On Wednesday, the Cincinnati City Council voted unanimously to purchase a downtown property. The $3 million investment will bring ownership of the former Saks Fifth Avenue building. Saks operated out of that structure from 1984 until last month. In Kentucky State news, Kentucky lawmakers are introducing a new bill that will revisit some gun carrying rules. House Bill 138 will eliminate gun-free zones in local government buildings and educational institutes. The bill does not have opposition from those concerned about guns anywhere near schools and students. Kentucky's mental health hotline is there for people having desperate mental health issues. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline recently saw a 29% increase in calls to the hotline. Officials are encouraged with how many Kentuckians have found the tool useful. In Ohio State news, a ruling Wednesday upheld a decision to fire an Ohio public employee for a comment on Facebook in 2014. Jay Marquette posted a joke about Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old black boy fatally shot by a white police officer, claimed his posts were protected by free speech, and guess what? They ruled that it was. Senate Bill 26 could allow drivers to claim they were sober even if they were tested positive for marijuana. Marijuana is currently treated similar to alcohol, but marijuana stays in the system much longer. The different timelines bring into question how long someone may be impaired. In sports, the NFL announced the finalists for MVP, and guess what? Joe Burrow is in the mix. And former UC Bearcat Sauce Gardner is a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Coming up is Jamie Spindley and his World News.
Hello, Bulldog Nation. Today's World News. Well, I can't talk about the tanks for Ukraine because the Bulldog covered that story this morning. Cheers, mate. The production of opium increased sharply in Myanmar. After falling for 7 years, it touched nearly 795 metric tons in 2022 and doubled the production in 2021. Iranian and Russian hackers are targeting British politicians and journalists with espionage attacks. Where's James Bond when we need him? 9 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli military raid on the occupied West Bank. Also, a children's ward of a local hospital was hit by Israeli tear gas. 8 people have died, including several Chinese nationals, after a cargo ship sank in the Japanese waters. Also, get ready for this. An asteroid the size of a bus, the space rock, known as 2023 BU, will whip over the southern tip of America just after midnight Greenwich Mean Time. There is no need to panic. And in sports, Manchester United thrashed Nottingham Forest 3-0 in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Until tomorrow, I hope you all have a great day. Cheers.